Hey everyone, this is Amanda from devotioninaction.com, and we are doing Ephesians 6, Ready for Anything. This Bible art journaling entry is a word art of the armor of God that says, stand strong. And what you saw right away at the beginning was me kind of marking off how big I wanted the letters to be. I tried out this drawing in my sketchbook before I put it in my Bible and measured how big I made the letters, and so then just kind of gave myself some marks in the margin of my journal just to make sure I didn't run out of room. So here we have the S, and I'm adding the breastplate of righteousness. And I wrote, like, this is what I should have measured too, I guess, but I was writing righteousness too big, so I didn't have enough room. And then in teeny tiny little letters on the bottom of the breastplate, you see righteousness. And then the T for stand is going to be a sword, the sword of the Spirit. So each of the letters in stand is going to have to do with the armor of God. And I've obviously got this very sped up. Anywhere from 4 to 16 times speed on this entry, just so that you can see the steps that happen and kind of how it takes shape in the Bible, but you don't have to watch for an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, because like I've said before, I work really slowly. So here's a sword, and I'm writing spirit in the handle of the sword. And then here's the A, and it's kind of just block letters. I realized that I was looking at a little eraser shaving instead of my actual mark, so I had to erase that second leg of the A and move it in closer, and and pull that out. I do a lot of erasing in this one because sometimes I add in lines of letters that I didn't intend to. And this is going to be the belt of truth, and I noticed that I didn't quite make that last one long enough. It looked lopsided when I got it done. So truth across the center. And then we come in with the N, and you're going to see that I don't complete the N all the way, because this is going to end up saying stand, and then there's going to be a cursive strong at the bottom that kind of goes up into the N and the D. So I'm trying to leave that open for those cursive letters to come up into that word. And again, I only knew that it was going to do that and that I needed to leave it because I tried it out in my sketchbook first. And so the first time that I did this in my sketchbook, I actually just drew out the block letters of stand, figured out where I wanted each piece of armor to go, and then erased as I needed to put that in that space. So if it looks like, how could she possibly know that? It's because I had already done it. And if I was doing this, you would see a whole lot of erasing if I was just making it up as I went along in here. But I knew I wanted to record this one, so I I tried it out in my sketchbook first. So here we have the helmet of salvation. We had the shield of faith on the in, and the helmet of salvation is going in here. And then it's one of those ones that has the plumes on the top, so that's what's sticking up on the top. Then salvation goes right there on the front of that helmet. And then very quickly, this is like 16 times speed, I am going over everything with a black micron pen. This is the .01 size black micron pen. You'll notice that I'm not doing the words in that one. I realized that I forgot to ever write strong, so I came back with a pencil there. And then this is still going over in the .01 black micron pen. Then you'll see me switch pens very quickly over to a .005, and that's what I went over the words with. But when I got to the strong, I didn't like it, so I switched back to the heavier .01. Then this is my magic white eraser that I just go over and take out all the pencil marks from before I went over it in black micron pen. Just taking off all those stray pencil marks and getting rid of those. I noticed this time that it made some of my words, especially, a little lighter. So I'm coming back in after erasing with the black micron pen, darkening up some lines, darkening up some words, just because they seemed a little faded after erasing over the top. Sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't. I don't really know why. Sometimes maybe I'm pressing harder. So there's the outline. Then I'm taking my Prismacolor soft core colored pencils, and this is a silver, And so I wanted to start, you're going to notice this is really common. Every time I go to color one of these things on this entry, I'm starting very lightly and then coming over and adding in shading in a little bit darker tone. Now I took the gold here and I'm doing the shading in gold because I didn't want it to look too new and shiny. I wanted it to kind of look a little more battle worn, a little more tarnished. So that's why I used that gold over the silver. This is a very, very light gray starting out on the sword, and then I'm going to take the silver to kind of darken in places and do some shading. And then I pick up the gold and I'm going to do some of these accent pieces and make it look a little bit dirtier, I guess, with the gold on top of the silver, but not super, because I wanted the sword to look like its own entity. Then I'm taking a dark brown here and every other rung in those, and then the gold, and then a lighter brown for the other ones. That's hard to see here, but when you see the close-up at the end, I think you'll be able to see the different colors in the handle. I went to the belt instead of doing the handle because I couldn't figure out what color I wanted the handle to be at first. So I went over and grabbed a green for truth and light brown start off, and then 2 different dark browns because the first one I chose, I didn't really like the shading as much. And then I didn't know what colors I wanted to do the shield of faith, so I skipped over to the helmet and started with silver again, accented in gold, and then added some dark brown, and then red for the plumes. And then once I'd used red and green, I thought I need some blue and went back over, and then I thought I'll do some red, some blue in the shield of faith as well. So when I fill those in, see, notice I'm trying to keep all the shadows more toward the left side of the picture. So when I've shadowed, made some darker things on those, I'm keeping it toward kind of the left side. Then I looked at it and I thought, what color should I use for these? I had to cut out a lot of video time because you just were looking at this while I was thinking about what color I wanted to use. But the yellow I like because while we're standing, we're shining. We're being a light. And so I started with a really light yellow and then added a little darker one. And here it is. Stand strong with your armor on from Ephesians 6. I hope you come on over to the blog and read the devotional for chapter 6 in Ephesians. These are the things I use, just pencils, black micron pens, and Prismacolor softcore pencils. Comment, like, subscribe. Thanks!